Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. If you've been following US immigration at all, you know it can honestly feel like a massive puzzle of legal jargon and constantly shifting policies. But today, we're cutting right through all that noise. We're going to use a really simple what, why, who, and but framework to decode the ultimate prize of the immigration system, the US green card.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with what is a green card, move right into the core benefits, look at who can actually apply, and finish up with the fine print.
All right, let's jump right into part one. What exactly is a green card, and how do we define permanent residency?
Officially, the government calls this a permanent resident card, and the absolutely crucial word there is permanently. We're not talking about a temporary tourist pass or a student visa here. This is a formal, tangible document issued by the U.S. government that gives a foreign national the legal green light to plant their roots, live, and work on American soil for the long haul. It literally transforms someone from a temporary visitor into a permanent member of the community. It's a total game changer. Which brings us to our second section, the core benefits. Think of this as your all-access pass. This card is essentially a key that unlocks fundamental freedoms. It lets you move and establish a life literally anywhere in the country. Just imagine the sheer scale of the United States for a second. With this status, you aren't boxed into the state or city where you first landed. You've got the total freedom to live anywhere you want, from the bustling streets of New York to a quiet suburb in the Midwest. Plus, it gives you the ability to travel in and out of the U.S. Now, you do have to be a bit careful since there are rules, like you can't just abandon your U.S. residence, but it fundamentally shifts your relationship with the borders. You aren't just visiting anymore, you're coming home.
Having this card represents a massive shift in a person's entire life trajectory. For starters, you can work for almost any employer you want. You're no longer handcuffed to that one single company that sponsored you. Secondly, it's huge for family unity. It gives you the power to sponsor certain relatives so they can kick off their own immigration journeys. And maybe the biggest perk? It is the ultimate stepping stone. Once you meet the required residency period, you become eligible to apply for full U.S. citizenship.
To really put this into perspective, think about life before getting the card. A foreign national's right to work is usually tied up in a very specific, highly restrictive work visa. If you lose that job, you could literally lose your right to stay in the country. It's incredibly stressful. But after the green card, the chains are totally off. You have true economic mobility to jump to almost any employer in the U.S. without begging them to sponsor a brand new visa for you.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, who can apply? Let's take a look at the demographic reality of this system.
Because that's the most natural question to ask, right? So, who actually gets one? We know what it is, we know it's incredibly valuable, but the U.S. government obviously isn't just handing these out at the airport or arrivals gate. There's a highly complex, structured system of categories that determines who even gets to apply in the first place.
So the primary engines driving U.S. permanent residency are family sponsorship, meaning you have close relatives who are already U.S. citizens or green card holders, and employment sponsorship, where employers are essentially petitioning for workers who have very specific skills. But then there's the diversity visa. This is super fascinating because its official nickname is actually the green card lottery. It's exactly what it sounds like. Individuals from countries with historically low immigration rates to the U.S. literally enter a drawing for a chance to apply. Throw in humanitarian pathways like refugee or asylum status, and you've got this highly structured, fiercely competitive system.
And that leads us to our final pillar, Section 4, the fine print. Let's talk about the boundaries and limitations.
So while you definitely have that all-access pass to the economy we talked about, you're not exactly in the VIP room of full citizenship just yet. And this is a critical distinction that gets misunderstood all the time. A permanent resident card is an amazing privilege, no doubt, but it is absolutely not the finish line. The U.S. government expects you to treat the country as your true permanent home. If you decide to pack up and move to another country to live permanently, or if you commit certain crimes, this card and your entire resident status can be revoked. There are definitely strings attached.
And honestly, this boundary is probably most visible right at the ballot box. See, as a green card holder, you're paying taxes, you're working in the economy, you're a vital part of your local community, but you generally cannot vote in U.S. federal elections. The right to actually step into that voting booth and pick the president or members of Congress, that is strictly reserved for full U.S. citizens. You have the residency, for sure, but not that full civic and political participation.
So a green card absolutely transforms a person's life, granting them the freedom to live and thrive anywhere in the United States. But, as we've seen, it comes with some pretty profound responsibilities to maintain that status, especially without the ultimate safety net of citizenship. So here's the real question for anyone holding this powerful little card. It's not just about what it allows you to do today. It's about whether you're fully prepared to uphold the strict rules required to keep your American dream truly permanent tomorrow. Thanks for tuning into The Explainer today. I'll catch you next time.